times I tell myself in life. One of them is I'll do it after work, and the other is this won't take long. Well, I'd like to say this collage won't take long because I think I know the direction I'd like to go. I always, again, collect more than I need and put it off to the side. I also have a couple of vintage magazines that I may want to work with either in this collage or another. But this is my focal point. Grabbed it from that, I believe it's either German or Dutch magazine on motorcycles. So here's my focal point. Here's another vintage piece from an old RCA catalog. I like something about this background. And then we have wine labels. I honestly purchased this bottle of Pinot because I love the label. So I want to use this label. And something really fun happened. It's those magical accidents that occur with collage. I was looking at this, and then I had this piece of ephemera. I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks like pouring of this wine or champagne created this landscape for my focal point, perhaps. And then I was thinking maybe adding some blues and maybe this really fun processed background. It's great fun. But I'm thinking to myself, well, guess what? This might not take long. So let me get started cutting and see how long it actually takes. A real fine cut. I can always come back in and clean up little areas of negative space that I definitely want to show through. So by no means am I finished cutting out what I believe is going to be my focal point. Then there was this. So I'm cutting things out and trying to determine how they might look together before I commit and do the cutting. So there's not a lot of color, obviously, with our black and white image from the vintage magazine. But that gives us opportunity to play with color because we are working with collage and it allows us to make these decisions. Now I thought about, ooh, there's a lot of color right there, but I don't think I'm going to use this image for this piece. I wanted to use this. We're working with another black and white thing. And normally, as you know, I love working with black and white. This is definitely going to be something of a limited palette. I think that's the direction I am going in today. And I want to keep it simple, and I also want it to be kind of quick. Not that I'm in a hurry or anything. It's actually kind of a warm-up. I am very excited about Februllage coming up. It should be, the prompts should be available to us in the coming week. And that way I can just sort of plan, not too much. I don't like to plan my collages very much. I kind of want some type of serendipity going on with them. But I do want to at least start collecting ephemera, stuff that I'm attracted to, regardless of what the prompt is, put it to the side and see what the prompt initiates. So for today, I just want to have maybe a quick, simple collage that shouldn't take long, but I know me and that doesn't always hold true. I will forgive myself if this turns into a 3-hour venture. I won't subject you all to it because I will edit it, or rather my wonderful editor will edit it. So we will cut this out, and now that it's free, I may want to cut this extraneous white out because it'll allow for a nice pattern, and also if we can put other things behind it and give it some more personality. Yeah, that's good. It'll give it like almost like an astrological chart feel to it, a flower to it, again, a clock. I love clocks too. Clocks and black and white. That just makes me so happy. Okay, so that's stuff I can get to in just a minute here. Pick up my little scraps because I can't stand it. So this is where, yeah, this a little busy, with this and our little cityscape. So maybe something not so busy. So we'll put this off to the side. I had this pattern paper. It's actually a vellum. You can see through it. That does make for a lovely contrast, doesn't it? But I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. I normally don't do that. I see a lot of other collages working with backgrounds like that, and I applaud it because I always like the results. Oh, here we go again. Here's this guy. No, again, too busy. So I need to go and hunt up maybe something not super busy. I liked the blues, and I thought maybe somehow, this is where my thinking was going. Okay, again, it might be a little on the busy side. But it doesn't have to be a big collage either. Okay, so I was thinking something like this, along these lines. Yeah, okay. So what I need to hunt up now is a stronger background. I grabbed this, but I don't think I'm going to be using this either. The reason I grabbed it was because of the beautiful background. And that might work if it weren't for, well, there's this. I think I need to search for an interesting background. Maybe not anything that's landscape, because then it's not as absurd. And we're all about absurd on this channel, aren't we? Okay, I'm going to go off camera and do some hunting, and I will be right back. Off camera, I did a little hunting, and I think we are coming down to the finish line. So perhaps I am keeping my promise that this will not take long. Just wanted to share, though, the process with cutting out vintage paper once again. I took out the spokes. I know it looks a little funny, but that will lend to the absurdity of the image. Took out the spokes because I want to expose some of that background. And in doing so, this area, as you can see, became extremely delicate to the point where I thought I was going to lose part of it. The solution I found and came up with at the time was just attaching some packing tape to the back to give it some more tensile strength so it could hold up at least for the cut. And shame on me, I did not change my X-Acto blade. When you're working with vintage paper especially, you may want to change that X-Acto blade. I had an instructor in art school who suggested changing the X-Acto blade after, very, very few cuts. I don't do that because I kind of feel that it's wasteful and my blades seem to last long regardless, but I should have changed this blade before I proceeded with this cut. Anyway, off camera, that's what I did. I did some cutting and then I did a little bit more searching, and in my search I found an orange cone, and I thought it was kind of appropriate maybe with this couple, and maybe inserting it here or something. I might use it, I might not, but I took it out anyway, and in any case, it can be used for another collage. It's cut at an odd angle because there was text, and you know how I feel about text. One of these days, I think I'm going to do a collage based on text alone, because I keep telling you guys, I don't use text, I don't use text. I love text, but I just don't use it in the majority of these collage videos at all, but maybe that's going to be a future video. So I have a wonderful book that I got very cheap at a yard sale, Indigenous Australia, and what makes this wonderful also is the size. So it lends itself to smaller collages, and I found this image. There were actually several images I was playing with from the book. Oh yeah, they're right here. There was actually the inside cover. I don't know what they call those, the back pages and the front pages where it's just some type of design or just plain paper. Thought this might work. And then there was also this scenery from a brush fire. The problem was with this, with the brush fire one, I felt it was just taking up, it wasn't prominent enough because that white border will not be there. I just didn't think it's, well, it kind of says something because you got the flames going on right here. anyway, I chose not to use it, and there was the other side. You always want to check the other side, and it's okay, but it wasn't speaking to me, so not going to use that one. I like this, and I will definitely use this in another collage, but it's possible. It's not that. Um, it's kind of close to doing something like this using these wonderful printed pattern papers. But again, I'll just put it off to the side. And hey, I might change my mind within this collage. Oh, remember this guy? I'm still thinking, but I'm going to think about him. Anyway, I also wanted to make sure that this background would complement this little wine label. It's not the focal point, but it certainly gives into the focal point. I love the pink look, and it matches with this champagne-y type thing too going on. So it still needs something. I really felt that it needed something. That's why I also grabbed the orange cone just in case. It might be too much. It might be a little too much. I'm not sure. But that's why I went ahead and grabbed this cotton candy. Doesn't it look delish? This is from W Magazine. And W Magazine, oh my gosh, if you have a friend that has W Magazines, and if they truly are a friend, they're going to give those magazines to you when they're done. W Magazine has wonderful tensile strength for its beautiful imagery. I have made many a collage from W Magazine. The only trouble with it, the only problem I have with W, for my little scanner, when I scan these images into my computer, my scanner bed is too small to take on the whole page. So then I have to take a picture instead, which is always an option, and not a bad thing either. So I'm going to go ahead and use this cotton candy as a background for my honeymooners. Oh, is that the title of this collage? Kind of obvious, isn't it? It's a married couple going off on a motorcycle. I could even go with something like Evel Knievel Gets Married, but I don't know. That's kind of silly. I'll think about it. And Honeymooners, obviously, that was an old TV show from years ago. Just trim that up. Ooh, you know what? I didn't check the back. Was there? Well, there's this image on the back. That's okay. I always I'm trying to be cognizant of what's going on in the back of my pieces. It doesn't mean that I have to glue anything down. I can always scan and come back to it later or visit it again only in Photoshop. Let's get some of that wonderful, wispy, whimsical, wonderful pink candy thing here. As you guys know, I love pink. It's one of my favorite colors. Actually, all my colors are my favorite colors. Ooh, see, we got a little bit of background that I want to kind of take out. So with my still dull X-Acto knife, shame on me. It's okay. I mean, I don't like I said, I don't recommend this. Change your knife. And after this collage, may do another one, and yes, I will change the knife. Okay, so this is how I wanted to set it up. This is going to be like a background. It could be, let me play with which way it'll go. Okay, that's possible. I thought about doing it this way. That's kind of an interesting look. Tuck that in maybe. Okay, the reason I chose something additional for the background is because the spokes and his foot, it just makes it look a little bit more interesting if they have something to stand on instead of just, empty space. Let's try it this way. This was another way I wanted to look at it. And that way it could bleed off the page a little bit. You can also put it at a slant, which might be the best idea I'm seeing here. Turn things upside down. They don't have to be going the way they were meant to go. You can turn it upside down and see something like that is a very strong possibility. That's even stronger, I think, because we have both spokes and his leg taking on the background, and she fits there almost perfectly, her veil, everything. Okay, so then I want to put my little city right here. You can see between the spokes, where the spokes were, where our city is. Do I want my orange cone? My orange cone might be interesting just sitting right here, kind of like a side note maybe. I'll wait for a second and decide. Don't want to do too much. Again, there was a wonderful image I saw in one of the other magazines. It was too much because I wanted it like maybe as a background, like a big face in the background, and I decided against it because your focal points are fighting for attention, and there shouldn't be that much going on when it comes to focal points. You want one focal point for sure and stay with it when you're doing, especially these smaller collages. Definitely want to consider that. Okay, let me go ahead and play with this a little bit more. I may lose this. I think I might. Yeah, I think it looks cleaner. We just have a smaller collage. It practically is minimal. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In my definition, this is how a minimal works. 3 to 5 pieces of ephemera. We'll find out in just a moment. As I'm constructing this collage, I just want to bring to your attention this was a wine label, and I always put wax paper on the backs of my wine labels when I take them out of the oven. The reason being is it's still pretty sticky, which means it's going to be sticky and maneuvering it around is going to be a mess. So I keep that on there, and this is why you can use that adhesive, because that's a pretty strong adhesive that they use for wine bottles. And there's still enough on there. It's tacky enough. It's gonna stay. I think I might have some wax paper stuck on the back of that. Yeah, because I don't feel any of the sticky. Okay. May not be able to do anything about that. But just something to think about. If you want to use wine labels, you can keep them as long as you need to. Put some wax paper on the back, and you have an instant sticker again. I have a short, and I'm not sure if I can put links to shorts, but I have a short, which is a short tutorial on how I remove wine labels. You can find any tutorial on YouTube on how to remove wine labels, but I do have a little short. If you're interested in that, I'll see if I can link it. If not, just check out my shorts. And okay, I am loving how that's looking. That's the only thing that's bugging me here, and it's so tiny you can't even really see it, is this negative space. It's just dark. It's kind of boring, but it doesn't detract. It's not going to ruin anything, and it's nice. I can kind of hook the motorcycle through here, and I'm very glad that he is resting his booted foot on some cotton candy. Okay, so what I want to do with my couple, I'll just gently, actually, I think I'm going to use drafting tape for these guys, or I'm just going to go ahead and use packing tape. I'm not going to use a lot because I may want to remove them later and use that background for something else, and I may want to use them for something else. So here I am. Okay, I am putting the tape on. I'm taping them down. We're committing here. But say I have a change of heart and I don't want to use them. I don't want to change my mind and I want to start all over again and I want to use them in something else. You can, it's not difficult. Again, grab your X-Acto knife, and if you want to remove them, and if you haven't used too much packing tape, you can simply cut along the packing tape and free it, because this is vintage paper with this very sticky packing tape. It's going to rip. I don't want to do that. So if I need to, I can come back in and make that clean slice. There's no adhesive to deal with. That's why I really enjoy using packing tape in my collages now. Okay, and then there was this. And this is, okay, here we go. Now I may remove them anyway because I wanted some of these buildings to be seen, but maybe it's, it may not be a big deal. So I wanted to put this here. This was my thinking. I'm going to remove A little bit of a hand I see there. Because we don't really need that hand. There's no reason for it. It's like barely a little bit of a hand and some of a thumb. And I was going to do this. I think originally I wanted to have them more off to the side. Wow. I may have to do that cutting anyway because I want to adjust my people. I want to adjust my focal point. I'm going to have to do some, okay, now you're going to get to see me do it. I wasn't planning on that. No big. As long as this works out, I will be gentle. So I'm going to find where the tape is, and then actually with the edge of my X-Acto, start cutting that tape away. Hope this works. Okay. Didn't get crazy with the tape, so we should be okay. I hear a little ripping. Actually, it's the cotton candy. Okay, that came up. Should be okay. More than anything, I want to protect my focal point, the vintage image. The cotton candy is important, but it's not as important as my focal points. Okay, so it's just a little bit of sawing. Yeah, they're fine. Whew. Just a little bit of sawing and then kind of pull it up the rest of the way. All right, now let's adjust them the way we really want them. I wanted to have some of these, the city view. In fact, yeah, this is, okay, I wanted that city view. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. That was important to me in doing this. Now his leg, now he can, they also don't have to be going straight this way. They can be, you know, maybe coming in at an angle. And if they're coming in at an angle, that actually eliminates the need for me to use the orange cone. Oh, that's not the orange cone. Where did the orange cone go? Oh, right here. I don't really need the orange cone. It's a cool idea, but it's too much. So I think I want them like this. I'm going to have to rely on Photoshop a little bit to for the background color, because there's going to need to be a background color like I normally do with my end images. There's always a background color going on. It doesn't look too bad. Okay. I do like this cotton candy. I liked cotton candy too as a kid. Yummy. I still like it as an adult, but it's not good for you. Just spun sugar. Maybe that's the name of this image, Spun Sugar. Okay, I like the way they look there. Now we're really going to commit. Should be okay. Just a little bit of tape, in case I change my mind again. Because we can do that here in Collage, packing tape makes it possible. All right, here is my champagne glass, and actually we can just put it right here. A little bit of a nub I don't care for. We are removing that. Just make it as clean as possible. Yay, that's good. Okay, I want to maybe put it up here. I did kind of want it to look like it was draining onto the image. I think I still want to do that. I'm even seeing a tiny bit of where I did cut, okay. So there's a little bit of the wine label that had just a white background, and I thought I trimmed it off and it was still there. I'm like, oh no, but it came right off because I had trimmed it well enough, so whew, yay me. Okay, this is what I want to do. And then I wanted it to look like the champagne bottle is draining onto that little cityscape. But that's going to call for just a touch of glue, nothing crazy, to keep our champagne in place. And I'm pleased with this collage. It didn't need too much. Is it a minimal? I don't know if I want to call it a minimal, honestly. It didn't take long. It didn't take all day. It didn't take too much. It wasn't too painful. Well, collage is not painful unless you cut yourself with a dull X-Acto knife, and you don't want to do that. It wasn't, I wasn't feeling too like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? What do I do here? I'm just putting a little bit of glue on these guys to keep them in place. Okay, I am going to call it done. And I think I like the name Spun Sugar. Spun Sugar! Yes. There we go. Thank you for helping me out by watching. And I would love to hear what you think. I would love to hear about your adventures in collage. And I will see you again next time.